It's been a week. It's been a month. It's been a whole year and I still haven't written that first chapter. I have all of these story ideas, but I always fall off the bandwagon whenever it comes down to actually write the story. I want to turn all of my story ideas into reality as a published book, but I can never get the motivation to actually write a book to the end. This was me for a very, very long time. And after being tired of waiting for motivation to come to me, I decided to finally make some instead. So after a lot of trial and error and trying things that definitely did not give me any motivation to write, I finally hit on 3 simple steps that give me unfailing motivation to write consistently every single day. These 3 things have not only given me the motivation to consistently write, it has also helped me with my athletic training, my art, school, and work. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you the 3 things that give me unfailing motivation to write a book from the beginning all the way to the end. Step 1 is to know your reason for writing. What I've learned is if I wanted to have motivation to write, I needed to have a reason for writing. Above anything else, your reason for writing is going to be the main driving factor to you writing. So what is your reason for writing? Your reason for writing goes hand in hand with your motivation to write. The stronger your reason for writing is, the stronger your motivation is to write. So now you may be asking, but what if I don't really have a strong reason for writing? What if I just write because I kind of want to, or I have these cool ideas and I just want to make a story out of it? Don't worry, don't be concerned that your reason isn't strong enough. Oftentimes our reason for writing is way deeper and stronger than we realize or what it looks like on the surface. So if you're concerned that your reason for writing isn't strong enough, don't worry, because I'll be showing you the simple exercise that uncover the core reason to why you write, and it'll show you that your reason for writing may be a lot stronger than you ever realized. So quickly grab a piece of paper and pencil, because I want you to do this exercise along with me, my friend Julie, who is definitely not me with a hat on. Why would you think that? And just to follow along the exercise with us so you can find out your core reason for why you write. The secret to finding your core reason to why you write is just to continue asking the question why over and over and over again. So I'll show you a quick example of what this might look like for someone else, and while I ask these questions, write down your personal answers. And I'll write down some example answers as we go along. First question, why do you write? Because I want to get better at writing stories. Second question, why do you want to get better at writing stories? Because I'll probably sell more books that way. Third question, why do you want to sell more books? So I can make a living as a full-time author. Fourth question, why do you want to make a living as an author? Because I want to help and change people with my stories. I can do that better if writing was my full-time job instead of just a hobby. Fifth question, why do you want to help and change people with your stories? Because stories have helped me through hard times and made me a better person. I want to do the same for others. Once you've asked yourself all of these questions, then put your answer to the last question in front of the first question, and then you will know your real reason for why you write. So for Julie, her answer would be because stories have helped her through difficult times and made her a better person. And she wants to do the same for other people. She wants to make beautiful and impactful stories to help other people through hard times. Julie's reason for writing isn't only to become better at writing, it is to live out her passion for writing and also to help people with her stories. When your reason for writing is clear, your motivation is clear, and you know for sure that you're not just writing to write. So for you, maybe you write because you love collaborating with other people, or maybe you write because you want to bring more beauty into the world, or maybe you write because you want to impact people's lives with your stories. Those are all wonderful reasons for why you want to write. Once you know your reason for writing, remind yourself of this every single day, especially on the days you feel demotivated. After knowing your reason for writing, next is to visualize what your life would look like if you wrote thousands of words each day. What kind of person would you be if you wrote thousands of words every single day? What would you look like after doing that for weeks, months, and years? Think about how much better you'd be at writing and how much more comfortable you'd feel and how many more books you would have published. Picture what your life would look like with as much detail as possible. What are your characters like? How strong are your themes? What does the cover art look like? What do the pages smell like? What are your fans like? What shelf is it on in Barnes & Nobles? The image you create in your head should be so inspiring that every time you think of it, you want to write right then and there. Getting a crystal clear image of what your life would look like if you wrote a lot is so much more motivating than if you just have some vague idea of kind of what would happen if you wrote more often. And if you want to make your dream even more motivating, I would recommend writing it down, because having it on a piece of paper to read is so motivating whenever you're demotivated to write and just feel like sleeping or eating or doing anything but writing. Number 2 is to set goals. Now, although I set a lot of goals for my school and work, it never occurred to me to set goals for my writing until recently, because exciting goals keeps up your motivation while ensuring you're making progress as a writer. Having a clear path with the end in sight will keep up your motivation, because otherwise it'll kind of feel like you're wandering through a dark forest with no end in sight. I mean, some people like that, just the totally off the grid version of just writing here and there willy-nilly. But if you are lacking motivation as a writer, which I assume you are because you're watching this video, goals are a pretty good idea if you want to gain back some motivation to write your novel. So I recommend creating big, medium, and small goals. Big goals will give you an overhead view of where you're going. Medium goals will give you milestones to work towards those big goals, and small goals will help you get daily progress towards those goals. So say your goal is to finish a novel by the end of the year. Awesome goal, by the way, but it can also be an overwhelming goal. But just like any other goal, writing a novel is just a lot of smaller actions adding up to a big result. So let's break down the novel writing process into milestones that you can achieve throughout the year. First off, you probably want to start brainstorming ideas, then choose an idea, create a world, create characters, plot a novel, write the first draft, then edit it. There's a lot of more tinier things in between that, but I feel like those are the main milestones when it comes to writing a novel. Once you've written out all the steps you're going to take to write your novel, then print out a yearly calendar or however long your time frame is to write that novel, and then start putting in place the deadlines for when you want to finish the steps that you're going to take to write your novel. So here's a little quick example that I wrote up of what it might look like. January, brainstorm at least 10 story ideas and choose the most interesting one. February, create the world, create the history, maps, Pinterest board of inspiration, and all that goes into creating the world. March, create characters, appearances, goals, past, fears, desires, etc. April, plot the novel. May, finish outlining and work through plot holes and potential issues in your story. June, write the first quarter of your novel. July, write the second quarter of your novel. August, write the third quarter of your novel. September, write the last quarter of your novel. October, take a quick break from your novel so that you can get an objective view of it when you go to edit it. November, edit your novel. And lastly, December, have at least 3 beta readers read your novel and apply their advice. Now, your calendar probably will look nothing like this, but the point is to give you a map, to give you guidance, and then deadlines to keep you accountable. You may want to squish all of these steps into 6 months, 3 months, or even 1 month for an extra hard NaNoWriMo challenge. It's all up to you, your story, and your schedule. But the purpose of the plan is the same: to have a clear destination and easy steps towards that destination. So now that we've mapped out the big goals and the milestones working towards those big goals, now it's time to make the daily writing routine that will help you achieve those milestones. So depending on what writing goal you have for that month will determine on what daily goal you have for that day. So say that month you are planning on outlining and developing all of your characters in your story. Your daily goal might be to outline 1 character. Or if your monthly goal is to finish the first quarter of your story, your daily goal might hit a certain number of words that day. So whatever your daily writing goal is, make sure to write it out on your calendar so you know exactly what you need to do every day when you wake up to write, to ensure that you're making progress towards finishing your novel. The last and most important step you need to take to setting your goals is to set reminders. Because you might have a perfectly set out map for exactly how you're going to achieve writing your novel at the end of the year. If you get caught up in the busyness of life or forget about it, then all those goals will go to waste. To ensure you don't forget about your goals and milestones you want to achieve every day, month, and year, here's a couple of things you can do to help remind you of your goals and milestones. One is have a daily journal where you write down your goal of finishing your novel every morning or night. 2, set an alarm on your phone that reminds you of this time each day you want to write or think about your story. 3, tell friends and family about your goal of writing a novel to keep you accountable. 4, review your writing goals and vision every day when you wake up. Okay, so I know that some people may be reluctant to having goals and milestones and daily writing habits because it kind of maybe takes out the fun for them in writing. I'd encourage you to try this out and not look at these things as restrictions or deadlines or pressure or chores, but to look at them as a shining light ahead of you to keep you motivated to continue writing each day. Number 3 is to make writing a part of you. When being a writer is part of who you are, a part of your identity, then you no longer have to worry about having motivation. No amount of lack of motivation will derail you because writing is just who you are. You can't not do it. So how did I make writing not just something I enjoy, but part of who I am? 1 is to take action over and over and over again. There's this quote by Aristotle, which is, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence then is not an act, but habit. To make something a part of you, you have to do it like a ton and do it consistently. For example, that is not writing. At the beginning of this year, I really wanted to improve my art skills. Art was something that I enjoyed, and I thought it'd be cool if I could be able to draw awesome sketches. So I challenged myself to draw one whole sketch every single day for 365 days. At first, it was super fun. For 2 hours a day, I would draw my sketch and that was it. I'd have a great time. But after a few weeks, it began to feel less like something fun I got to do at the end of the day, but more like a chore. But I kept true to my promise and kept on drawing day after day until about day 110, art began to change for me once again. No longer was sketching something I enjoyed, it was something I loved. My hands began to itch to sketch and I'd be looking forward to each day, and not only did I draw better, but I could draw easily, and it felt like it was a part of me, an extension of my hand. It was amazing. Then I didn't have to worry about missing a day because I couldn't not sketch. It was a part of who I am. The same goes for writing. At first, it'll be fun and enjoyable. Then you might hit a roadblock and it'll be hard to continue writing. But once you get to your version of day 110, maybe that's day 50, maybe it's day 1,000, whatever it is, eventually you'll hit that place where writing isn't just something you enjoy, it's something you love and care about, and it's a part of you. You don't have to worry about having a motivation because you can't not write. It's a part of who you are. So be sure to just, even if it's just a little bit, just write every single day. Even when it's hard, even when you don't want to, even if you just write 3 words, write every single day, and eventually it will become a part of you. And if you want to delve deeper into creating a really unfailing writing habit, my sister and I wrote a whole ebook about that that's totally free that you can get. I'll link in the description box below if you want to check that out and learn how to build an unstoppable writing habit. The second step to making writing a part of you is to immerse yourself in the world of writing. So fill your day with anything and everything creative writing. So I wrote this list on my phone of a list of things that might give you ideas. 1, read fiction, read books about fiction, watch videos on writing, listen to podcasts on writing, take classes and courses on creative writing, join a writing club or meeting, make friends who also like to write, follow writers on social media, subscribe to writing newsletter, make your own blog on writing, and little self-plug here is to join the Kingdom Pen Forum. It's a forum on Kingdom Pen website. I'll also link that in the description box below if you want to join a forum full of young creative writers that just love and discussing writing, talking about books and movies and their own writing and giving advice and asking for advice. So if you want to check that out and join a group of young Christian writers, definitely link that in the description box below if you want to join that forum. When you immerse yourself in the world of creative writing, you'll identify yourself as a writer. And when you identify yourself as a writer, it'll seem strange not to write and not hard to write. Number 3 to making writing a part of who you are is to make it awesome. If you absolutely love to write and look forward to it every day, then motivation comes easy. When you love to write, it shows in your writing. Even if somebody knew nothing about you and just read your book, they can kind of tell whether you love to write that or kind of hated it. When an author loves their writing, then the readers will love the writing as well. So here are some ideas that can make writing way more enjoyable. One is to write at the time of day that you have most energy, whether that be morning, evening, or afternoon. So depending on who you are, write at the time of day where you have the most energy. Because writing is so much more enjoyable when you have the energy to actually write and you're not falling asleep mid a sentence. 2 is to enjoy your favorite beverage as you write, whether that be coffee or tea, lemonade, water, whatever your favorite beverage is. Have that beverage each time you write, and then you associate your good feelings with that beverage to writing, and then writing all becomes that much more magical whenever you write because you get to drink that beverage. 3 is to listen to inspiring music while you write. Music is the perfect thing for setting the mood for when you write and getting you in the right headspace for whatever you're writing. So I recommend saying the perfect playlist for your story or whatever scene you're writing to listen to the perfect playlist that gets you in the mood to write that scene. 4 is to only write interesting things. If the scene you're writing is boring to write, it will most definitely be boring to read. So either try reworking the scene or taking the story in a slightly different direction if you're writing a scene that is boring to you. 5 is to make your writing space most comfortable. So making sure it's clean and comfy, and maybe you set some candles or wear your comfy clothes. Whatever you can do to make your writing space as comfortable as possible will definitely play a part in how enjoyable writing is. 6 is to don't have any expectations. If you're expecting yourself to write the most amazing chapter ever or scene ever and do it the best way possible, then you're setting yourself up for disappointment, and that will ultimately affect how much you like writing. If you're coming away from writing always disappointed because you didn't write as well as you hoped you would, then you'll begin to dread writing. So instead, just focus on writing the best you can in that moment, which will change day to day depending on how you're feeling. Focus on having fun and just enjoying writing, because that will ensure that you'll continue writing into the future and that your writing is fun to read as well. The last step into making writing a part of who you are is to have a writing partner or a writing community. We are so much more influenced by people around us than we may think. Like it or not, we tend to mirror the people we spend the most time with. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing. If we choose to be around people who we admire, we'll end up behaving more like them without even trying. So whether it's online or in person, get yourself around creative writers so you can help inspire, motivate, and help each other with each other's stories. Having a partner in crime is a total game changer, and not only your motivation, but also your quality of writing. So do you have a community that you can join that does creative writing? Or if you can get yourself on an online writing forum, maybe the Kingdom Pen writing forum, or maybe you have a family member or friend who's a little interested in creative writing and you can get them on the creative writing bandwagon and you can create awesome stories together. That's so cool. So there you have it. Those are the 3 steps that I do every time I want to reignite my motivation to continue writing story after story. Writing doesn't have to be like the weather. By implementing these 3 steps, it will light the torch of motivation that help you continue writing book after book after book and to be the best writer you can be. But now I want to ask you, what do you do to stay motivated to continue writing? I'd love for you to let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Take heart, be courageous, and keep on writing. Bye.